Thailand tribe, welcome back. In this video, we're going to have some fun here because we're actually going to talk about the dark side of Thailand and Southeast Asia. And a couple disclaimers here before we actually get started with this, okay? Now, in this video, I'm going to say Thailand, okay? But that's where I live right now. But what I'm really meaning is all of Southeast Asia, or mainly even all of Asia is going to have these dynamics we're going to talk about here. The second thing here is that I did have some tissue for you, but I used it all. So if you're going to get upset and cry, you might want to go get some tissues right now before you watch this video. So pause the video, go get your tissues before we begin. Because we're going to talk about some juicy stuff today. Not too juicy, but some of it maybe you've learned in world history in high school if you paid attention to world history. But the amazing thing is like when you actually live in Thailand like myself, the things you learned in school, you really see eyeball to eyeball. You really get to experience it in real life. And even more because you have a deeper connection to it. That's why this talk is going to be very, very interesting. But let's get jumping on this video. Let's dive down the rabbit hole of the dark side of Thailand. And the first thing we're going to talk about is culture here. Okay. Now, when we talk about culture, I'm not referring to, guys, Thai versus Falun. I'm not referring to this dynamic. Okay, I'm referring to Thai and Thai. I'm talking about how Thai people treat other Thai people, their culture, okay? Because what you have to understand in Southeast Asia is one, okay, they're communist nations, okay? We all know this, it's communism, okay? The second thing here is when you deal with culture is classism is huge, guys, in Thailand. It's huge in Thailand, okay? I mean, when you're dealing with just locals in Thai can be it's a very, very judgmental culture, okay? Very judgmental, okay? With Thai to Thai. Not Thai to Falun, okay? They're judgmental towards Falun, but in a different way. You just don't understand. You don't speak Thai, so you don't know, okay? You don't speak the language. Okay? But they're very judgmental. They're judgmental on, okay, how much money you make, the family you came from, who your mom and dad are, what do they do for a living, the social economics, where you come from. Are you poor, middle class, upper class, rich? Okay? They're very, very judgmental on this. And the classism is huge, like I said. And it's so huge that there's a separation. There's a separation between the poor Thai, and there's a separation between middle class and upper class and rich. Okay, what I mean by this separation is they don't intermingle. Okay, one, poor people don't intermingle over here because they can't afford it. Okay, let's be honest. That's why poor people can't come over here. They just can't afford. Okay, now, if you're middle class and upper class, you don't go over here. They don't intermingle at all. And what I mean by that, they don't eat where poor Thai people eat. They don't eat street food. They don't go to your 10 baht, 20 baht Thai tea, boba, street food, street corner on the corner of the highway. They don't go there. They don't shop there. They don't buy their food there. They don't go to street markets where flies are flying all over the meat and the veggies. Okay, they literally don't go where poor people are. They don't eat where poor people eat. They don't shop where poor people shop. They don't hang out where poor people hang out. Period, guys. Okay, I've been here for 5 years. You don't see it. Okay, I've also owned a condo in the Philippines for 6 years. Philippines is the same way. Okay, I've been in the Philippines for like 10 years altogether. You don't see it. I've been to China. I've been to Japan. You don't see it. They don't cross over. That's why I'm meaning classism is huge. Okay. And it really doesn't stop there, my friends. Like one of the things, like when you look at like poor versus middle class. Like poor in Thailand is different from being poor in the United States. Okay. I mean, now I've seen this with my own eyeballs because the last year and a half I've been up in Surin because Aang and I have been taking care of Aang's dad the last year and a half. And luckily his health has turned around. And but we've been up here for a year and a half. We've been up here a year and a half, mainly in a poverty village. So I see it eyeball to eyeball. Okay, I know what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff. It's not just Google search. I see it with my own eyeballs. Okay, Aang tells me. Okay, the locals talk about it. Locals tell me. Oh, you understand how it really is. And that's what I'm saying is being poor here in Thailand is totally different from being poor in the United States. So let me give you some examples. And this is kind of why, if you're middle class Thai and above, you don't venture over to poor. Okay. Now, like when you're poor in Thailand, you pretty much have no money. You're dirt poor. Like sometimes you can live in a decent house. Sometimes next door, it almost looks like a shack. It almost looks like a barn. You know what I mean? That's kind of how their house is. It's not like a house. It's like a barn. Like if you grew up in the United States, like maybe out in the country on farmland, you see like barns where they keep the cattle, they keep farm equipment. Sometimes that's how the houses are built here in the village. Okay. Okay. There's no insulation at all. Okay, they're just put like a roof on it. If they put a ceiling, they're just put a ceiling. There's no insulation. There's no false ceiling. There's no nothing. It's just like cement and metal. That's it. Okay. But the different dynamics of being poor, really when it comes to food. Okay, like when it really comes to food, the food's dirty. Okay, they let it sit out. They let bugs and ants and flies crawl all over it. You can see that in street markets, guys. That's why a lot of you that when you come here on vacation, you get food poisoning because you eat food in the street markets. In the street markets, they've let flies, ants, and so on all over the food. Then you eat it and you consume it. Okay, I do have a nasty story, but I don't know if I'm going to tell you. I don't know if I'm going to share it in this video because it's pretty nasty. Okay. That's one reason why they're rich. They don't come over, but they know. Locals know. Locals know, like if you go in and eat with the poor, you're eating dirty food. Okay. Same way with the water. They drink dirty water. Okay. Mainly the reason why they drink dirty water is because like you're familiar with Thailand or Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, they have all these reverse osmosis machines. They're having them in condos and stuff like that. But what you don't know is with these reverse osmosis machines, they never flip and clean them. They never replace the filters. So eventually it's just spitting out dirty water. And that's what they deliver to poor people. It literally costs like, you have a 5-gallon jug. It literally costs like 14 baht to get this whole 5-gallon jug, but the water's dirty. Okay. Just because they don't clean these big machines. Okay, so what kind of a middle class and rich will do, they don't buy these big containers. They actually go to a grocery store and buy bottled water. So if you're middle class and above, that's why you see locals, they have actually bottled water they buy from the store, but they got money to buy it. Okay, and the biggest thing with these big machines and stuff like that, one of the things I've learned here in the village is like talking to locals. When we talk to locals about water, they would always say this. Like they would say, oh, you can cook with this water, but you can't drink the water. And at first I'm scratching my head like, what do you mean I can cook with the water but can't drink it? Okay, that's how Thai look at it, especially in a poor village. That's how they look at it. Like basically the water is dirty. They know it's dirty. They know it's not clean. They know they didn't replace the filters. They know. Okay, but they can't do anything about it because it's too expensive to buy this. Okay, so they're in their eyes, they can cook with it, heat it, make soups with it and stuff like that, and it's okay. You just can't drink it. But me coming from the United States, being a health nut, I'm like, well, okay, if you can't drink it, you shouldn't be, eating it or cooking with it either. Okay. But see, that's a dynamic. That's why, if you're middle class, upper class, that's why you don't go over. That's why they don't go over and mingle and really mingle and eat food where poor people eat and shop and all that jazz. Now, going down a rabbit hole with this even gets even deeper, guys. Even if, and Aang told me this, and this even happened to Aang's cousin, and like if Thai and Thai date, you got a Thai man and a Thai woman, they date. The Thai man, let's say he's 20, 22, like his family is all teachers. He's in college to be a teacher or whatever. Okay, whatever he wants to do, but he's in college. And he's dating a Thai girl over here. But the Thai girl graduated high school, but she's not going to college. Okay. And let's say they like each other. Now, what's going to end up happening is the family, the guy's family, is going to prohibit the relationship. They're basically going to, eventually, if the guy pushes the relationship with the girl, they're going to disown their son. So basically, they're going to give the son a choice, like, hey, if you choose her, that's fine, but you're choosing her over family. So when we pass away, you don't get anything. You don't get anything on our will. You don't get the land. We'll leave the land to your brothers and sisters, but not you. You get nothing. Okay, that's how strongly it is, and it's still like this today, guys. Okay, even Aang tells me, like when they marry, they date across. They don't go down. You don't date down. Okay, you don't date beneath you. Okay, that's how they look at it. You date across or you date up in the social economics. Okay, basically money, status. Okay, so all I'm saying, I'm hitting this really hard. All I'm saying is it's very, 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 very extreme in Southeast Asia. Even when I went to Japan, guys, a lot of people don't say this, but even in Japan, now this kind of goes to kind of Japan to Fulong. There's even restaurants in Japan that you can't eat at. You have to be Japanese. Okay, if you're not Japanese, you can't eat there. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, you don't have to believe me, but if you don't believe me, that means you haven't been to Japan, baby. Okay? Now, let's talk about the good old medical care. While we're going down the rabbit hole, okay? And when we talk about medical care, I am talking about the Thai dynamics, local medical care. Okay, not medical care versus Fulong. You hear all these expats when they come to Thailand for a couple weeks, they do videos like, Thailand has the best medical care in the world, better than the United States, better than Europe. Guys, even if I had to do a major surgery here, I'd rather go home. That should answer your question. Okay? But let's look at medical care. Now listen, the same classism, the same poor versus middle class and above, they don't have the same medical care. It's not the same. Versus the United States, if you're poor in the United States, you pretty much get the same medical care unless you're a celebrity or ultra rich or something like that. But you pretty much get the same medical care that I'm going to get, even if you're poor in the United States. In Thailand, that don't exist. You don't get the same medical care, baby. Okay? I've seen it with my own eyeballs up here in the village. Even all the villagers in this village, they're scared to death to go to the hospital. Even out of their own mouth, what they believe, what they see with their eyeballs is once you go to the hospital, you don't come back. You know what I mean? You can add stuff to that, whatever you want. Okay, now listen. This is how medical care works. If you're poor, okay, you do have medical care. You have free medical care. It's either free or you pay 30 baht, okay? But you have to go to the village that you live in, that you're from. Not that you live in, okay? What I mean by that, if let's say you're from and you were born in Surin, but you moved to Bangkok and work, if you get sick and have to go to the hospital, you can go to the Bangkok hospital, but they're going to charge you cash out of pocket, okay? It's not free, okay? So what Thai will do, they'll go back to the village they're from, then they'll go to that hospital where they're from. So either it's free for them or it's 30 baht, okay? Now, what I'm saying here is when it's free, even coming from Aang, how she kind of explains it, it's like most of the time, the hospitals are, they're almost like student hospitals. Like sometimes there's not people that have tremendous experience that works in a hospital. Sometimes it's a college hospital. That's where they send students to learn more. You know what I mean? And even Aang explained that to me. Like somebody could come in and have to put a catheter in you, and they've never done it before. You understand? Okay, they might come in and draw your blood, but they've never done it before. Okay, so that's kind of what you get in those hospitals. There's also a waiting list in the hospitals when it's free. Okay, if there's too many people in front of you, listen guys, no matter how sick you are, you have to wait. Now, if you happen to pass away before that time, you happen to pass away before that time. Okay, because it's basically free, first come, first serve. Okay, now listen guys, versus a middle class and upper class and rich, they got a whole different medical care. They almost got medical care like us in the United States, just because they can afford medical care, they can afford to pay cash. Oh, that's two. They also have medical insurance. So they either have a good job that pays for medical insurance, that way they can go to, for example, they can go to Bangkok Hospital, they can go to a really good hospital and insurance will pay for it, or they got money to pay for medical insurance out of pocket. Okay, do you understand? So that's just the dynamic is, over on this side, when you have more money, you're paying for your insurance versus on the poor side, you get it for free, but there's just stipulations around it. Does that make sense a little bit? Hey friends, just a quick little intermission here. We'll jump right back to the video. But if you're really trying to figure this stuff out, if you're really trying to live life on your terms, you really need to check out the description, because in the description is where I keep all the nuggets and all the resources. If you're new here, start right here. We got stuff like the power drops, which is totally free, by the way. We got the 30-day challenge. And of course, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is here. And if you want to try to work with me, the link is right here as well. Like I said, my friends, if you really want to try to make this stuff happen, if you really want to live life on your terms, always keep up to date with the description, because that's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, let's get back to the video. Now, the third thing here I want to talk about, okay, now I should have did this in the beginning of the video, but why are poor people poor in Thailand? you understand? Because I have heard no one explain this. Okay. What you have to understand is, and what I'm about to tell you is, I wouldn't even believe it unless I've seen it with my own eyeballs. Okay. Listen, guys, is the dropout rate of high school, kids dropping out of high school, is huge here. I don't even know the percentage. Okay. Like for example, in this village right here, I would say at least 90%, 95% of the village never graduated high school. And that's including kids nowadays. Okay. You see, that's the weird dynamic. Like, it's not just poor because they can't get a job or whatever. Listen, guys, the reason why they can't get a job is because they dropped out of high school. Okay. Now, Thailand is just like the United States, just like Europe, just like London, whatever, wherever you live, it's just like any place else. If you drop out of high school, you're not going to be able to get a job, or you're really going to struggle getting a job. Now, on the poor side, when you drop out of high school, yes, you can still get a job, but your choices in Thailand are very, very, very slim. Okay, your choices, like if you're a guy, you work outside, you're a contractor, you just, you're a handyman, you're a handyman in the village, that's it, okay? And the salary comes with that, okay? Now, there are some factories that will hire you if you dropped out of high school, but of course, it's not going to be the best factory in the world, and it's not going to pay as good because, of course, you didn't finish high school. That's just the dynamic. And this is the real reason, like if you're a tourist, you go to the red light district. Okay, what you have to understand about the red light district, the reason why they're working in the red light district, girls and guys, mostly girls, but you see guys in there too. The reason why they're working in the red light district is because they dropped out of high school. They can't get a job. Okay. And, you know, they're a girl, they're good looking, they're beautiful. So the only choice they have is they don't want to go outside and work in the sun and build concrete walls. So they go to the red light district and work. That's why they're working in the red light district. Okay. That's what you have to understand. And the interesting thing with the dropout rates is, now this is something you might not believe. Okay. They drop out of school flipping early here. Okay, even in the village, I know, just since I've been up here a year and a half, the kids around the village, I know 4 kids that dropped out of school. Okay, two of them were in high school that dropped out. Okay, one of them dropped out when they're 12 years old, dude. 12 years old. They're 12 and they drop out of school. Okay, they're flipping in middle school at that point. What grade are you when you're 12? Are you 3rd grade or something like that? 4th grade? Maybe you're not even in middle school yet. Drop out of school at 12 years old. I mean, it's extreme here, guys. Like it you know, it flabbergastes me just around that. And I know I sound negative around it, but what you have to understand too, just being up here and seeing it, it's just a poverty consciousness around it. Like people don't have, you know, families and kids. They don't have role models. They don't have role models that they see people, you know, graduate school, go on to college, and they get a good job. They don't have that. They don't see it. You know, they grew up the whole time they've grown up. All they've known is severe poverty. You know what I mean? You would think like anywhere, even in the United States, you would think like in order for them to get out, they need to finish school and get a good job, but they still drop out. Okay. And this is the same dynamic that was happening in the United States. The United States, you know, we have an immigration issue with Mexico, with Hispanics coming over, but it's the same thing, guys. Listen, okay, the reason why the Hispanics can't get jobs in Mexico is because they drop out of high school. It's the same dynamic. They drop out of high school. That's the reason why they can't get a job. Okay, then they come to the United States and then they get a job in the United States that you need a diploma for. Okay, it's just kind of like an oxymoron what's going on right now, even in the United States, when we talk about the United States with this. And since we're going down the rabbit hole of the village, okay, let's venture down the road of having a driver's license in Thailand, insurance and all that stuff, because it gets worse when you start going down this rabbit hole. Okay, and I learned this from Ang, because one of the things when you come to Thailand, either you live here or you come on vacation, you always see like kids and teenagers riding the motorbikes all over. You even see them leaving school on a motorbike and driving home. You see them all over the place, depending upon where you live. Okay, even when I used to live in Hua Hin, you know, I would see them, just masses of them, drive motorbikes from school, all that jazz. Okay, and I assumed, almost like the United States, I assumed that you had to be 16 years old, maybe even 14, 15 to drive a motorbike in Thailand. But I was wrong. I asked Ang. Ang was kind of embarrassed to tell me. She didn't want to tell me. So I asked Ang, well, how old do you have to be to drive here? Drive a motorbike or drive a car? And the scary thing is you have to be 18 years old. Ooh. You have to be the locals, I'm talking about Thai. You have to be 18 years old to drive a motorbike, to drive it on the road, okay, and drive a car. And that's just scary to me, guys. So when you're here, you just see masses and masses and masses of under 18-year-olds driving motorbikes all over the road. Masses of them. Okay, and then on top of it, they're causing accidents when they shouldn't even be on the road. I mean, you understand? And it doesn't stop from there. You have that issue. Then you have the whole issue with the driver's license. Okay, just in the village I am right now, the most people I know that have a driver's license is 5 people in the whole village. Okay. So that's another dynamic. Like when you're in a poor community, when you're poor, you don't have a driver's license, but yet you're driving a motorbike all over the road, or you could be driving a car all over the road, but you don't have the proper license. Okay. And another dynamic that comes with that is your registration. Okay, your motorbike registration or your car registration. Most of the time, Thai will not pay for that registration. So you got like two issues going on. They don't have a driver's license, and then they're driving around with expired registrations, meaning your bike or your car shouldn't even be on the road. Then on top of it, you shouldn't even be on that bike because you don't have a driver's license. Oh, you understand? Now granted, versus the middle class and upper class, of course, the middle class, upper class, they got more money. So, they got more to lose because they got more money. So they're really going to have the proper driver's license, insurance. They're going to pay for everything. They're going to do the right thing on this side of the scale. But on the poverty side, the poor side, like, I don't even know the stats on this, guys. Okay, I don't even know the numbers on this. Like, it's just massively how many people don't have how many Thai locals don't have a driver's license that's all over the road. And I'll tell you one story with this. Okay, then we'll move on to a different topic. Okay. Even Ang. Now, she told me at one time she had a driver's license, but she let it expire. Okay, when I met her, she didn't have a driver's license. Okay, because she let it expire, didn't go get it because it costs money, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So at the time, I was going home to my niece's wedding, okay, in the United States. And then Ang asked me, hey, do you want me to get my driver's license while you're gone? And I said, yes. And I was kind of more firm with her because I just said, look, okay, like, if you get tickets and stuff like that, I'm not going to pay them for you. Okay, you need to take responsibility. You need to take responsibility for yourself, a responsibility for the motorbike, and get a proper license. Okay. And she did. She did, by the way, guys. Okay. Like, she was really proud of herself. It was kind of funny. She went there, did it the right way, took the test, all that jazz. Okay. But what's amazing to me, okay, this is the climax of the little story here, is that when I talked to her about just common sense, just road etiquette, driving etiquette, knowing what road signs mean, knowing who has the right of way and stuff like that, she didn't know. You know what I mean? She was like 30 years old. She's been driving since she was like 12. Okay. That should floor you. Like, most of these locals, no license, driving around, they don't know road etiquette, they don't know who has the right of way. They don't even know what the road signs mean. They really don't. They don't know what the road signs mean, and they're driving all over the place. You understand? That's why the traffic accidents usually end in fatalities. Okay? I mean, just mass negligence when you're dealing with this topic right here. And this kind of leads down the rabbit hole of just really talking about overall negligence of Thailand and Southeast Asia. Okay. And not even, they try to cover it up, say it's an accident, but it's not an accident. It's just pure and simple negligence. Okay. And, even in this video, I can give you just example out of example, just with negligence. Like, you see, when you drive down the road, okay, you see little boba shops, smoothie shops, like street food set up, like right in the gutter of the road. The gutter is an emergency pull-off just in case you get a flat tire. They're set up in an emergency side of the road, setting up their little store. Okay, that's just negligence, because when an accident happens, and it does happen, guys, trust me. Okay, when a car needs to pull over and you have a little store set up where an emergency pull-off is, well, that's a disaster waiting to happen, and it's all over Thailand. Okay, it's not even that. I mean, this was on Thai news just a few weeks ago. This happened in Bangkok, where it was kind of like it's almost like a beer garden in Bangkok. You kind of went in through one entrance, and when you went in through one entrance, it was huge in there. They had a band, bunch of food vendors all over the place. But they had a massive fire there. Not any fire, Okay. Basically, what happened was because usually in Thailand, what's popular is they have gas tanks um, that for cooking and all that stuff. So when I looked at it, when I looked at the extreme fire, the footage online, not online, but on Thai news, it looked like a gas tank blew up. Okay. But when it blew up, and I'm just guessing, okay, because it was a massive fire, it wasn't just a small little fire that just escalated and got out of control. Um, Everybody was trapped inside. You know why they were trapped inside? Is because all the emergency exits were blocked by food vendors. They couldn't get out. So once you walked into this giant beer garden that pretty much the whole thing caught fire, nobody could escape and get out. Complete negligence. I'm not even being nice about it. Complete negligence. Okay. Even the fire marshals went in. It was just like they blocked off. It was on, again, guys, I sound like a robot. Everything was on Thai news. Said basically all the emergency exits were blocked. But why they allowed the block shit? You understand? Why are these fire marshals or whatever, why aren't they running around double checking, making sure Thai people follow laws and follow things they should have to follow? Not an accident, guys, a negligence, okay? A few years ago, a bus in Bangkok, out of the blue, blew up and killed 12 kids. I asked Aang why did it blow up. Aang told me, oh, sometimes the schools, they don't maintenance the buses, they don't do the proper stuff they should. Complete negligence. Negligence. You understand? Like, I've hired Thai people here in Aang's dad house to fix things. And when they come, they do such a horrible job. Complete negligence, dude. They don't listen to you. Like, they listen to you, they repeat back what you say. Then once you leave, they just do what they want. Every single Thai person that's come here to fix stuff, I have to hire another person to fix their issues. A complete disaster. Okay. That leads down the rabbit hole of locals. And it's kind of going more on the poor side, not the rich side of locals. The poor side is they kind of think like laws and rules they don't have to abide to. Okay, like when I came up to the village, since we've been up here a year and a half, like all the locals in a village, they're poor, but their whole mentality is Thailand law they don't have to abide by it because it's a village. But I've heard Thai people say it, this is a village, it's different in the village. No, it's not different in the village. It's just like Bangkok. You gotta follow the laws in Bangkok. Just like you follow the laws in Bangkok, you gotta follow Thai laws in the village. but that's their thing, that they don't have to follow anything. And it's not that, see, this is a crazy oxymoron moment, is because it's not that Thailand has just as many laws as the United States. But the whole issue here is it's up and down. It's whenever they want to enforce it, push it, whatever, they're very, very inconsistent with it. So that's why locals, especially on the poverty side, not so much on the middle class, upper class side, the poverty side, they just don't listen to anything. And that's what kind of leads this conversation down. The next one is schemes and scams. I've talked about this one with Aang several times, because I was just like, you know what? Schemes and scams in Thailand, and I'm not going to go down a list of them, okay? Just going to paraphrase it. But schemes and scams in Thailand, there's so many of them. They happen so often that you wonder if Thai people are even held accountable to it. You know what I mean? Happens so often, so regular, them scheming and scamming for long, that do they even get in trouble? Now, Aang says they do, but I mean, usually how poor people, and I'm talking about poor Thai, not middle class. Usually middle class and above isn't going to do this stuff. But with poor, like how they get out of everything, once a police show up, you can hear them. All they say is, I'm poor, me poor, me poor, me poor. Then they just let them go. You know, no accountability, no nothing. You know what I mean? And we've dealt a lot with that up here in the village. I'm moving the camera back and forth. We've dealt a lot with that up here in the village because even Aang and myself, we've had to call the cops. We've called the cops 12 times on the same person up here. Nothing happens. You understand? It's like, how can you call the cops 12 times and nothing flipping happens? Now, I've actually talked about a lot here, but let's wrap this one up with this one. English. Because when you first come to Thailand, or even if you move here, the biggest thing that you assume that most Thai people, especially poor, most Thai people can't speak English. Okay? And with that, you assume that they don't teach English in schools. That's why they don't speak English. Okay, you assume this. That's what I assumed. And this is something I got wrong because I assumed they didn't teach English here. That's not right. That's not true. They do teach English. And it gets scarier than that. They teach English here in elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. So why is it, and this is an oxymoron question, why is it that Thai people have been taught English ever since they've been in elementary school? Why can't they speak English? I mean, like a lot of Thai guys, most Thai that I even meet, can't speak English at all. I can speak Thai way more than they can speak English. Okay? When they've been taught English in school. Okay? Okay, I've talked to a couple English teachers while I've been up here. And one of the things they told me was that kind of frustrated them, like teaching English in Thailand, is that they told me, look, Chad, he's like, I have kids that don't even show up at all to my class. They miss every single class the whole school year. And I'm told that I have to pass them. He's like, it's like that the whole time. You're having a kid that show up once or twice, that's it, and you can't fail them. You're told you have to pass them, okay? See, that's the whole issue. It's just negligence around everything, okay? Now, that's more in the poor schools, okay? Now, if you're middle class and upper class, most of the time you can speak English because they take school more important. They take school more heavily. Okay, school's more important to them because they don't want to be classified as poor. So when you come over to the middle class, a lot of middle class can speak English, or at least speak English pretty good. Okay, except on the poor side. Oh no, I'll tell you a story here really fast. I'll tell you a PG rated story, okay? Like Aang's cousin, she's going to a technical college up here in Surin City. And I saw her like report card, and she has to take English like every year in technical college, okay? And how they grade in college, or they don't do A, B, C, D, F like in the United States. They got a numbering system. They score you from like 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 4 being the best. Okay. So I see her English, and a teacher gives her all 4s. her professor gives her all 4s. Okay, meaning all A's in English. She can't even speak English. So how in the world, I'm scratching my head, how in the world can you have an A in English when you can't even say hello, yes, no, how are you, where you go? I can say all this stuff in Thai and she can't understand, she understands jack shit. You know, it kind of goes to show you like something else a little shady is going on, like how the kids can pass school and get by and they still get good grades. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you put in the indirect message that I'm trying to tell you here. But other than that, Thailand tribe, that's all I want to share with you today. I don't know why. I just felt like kind of sharing that, kind of getting that off my chest. It wasn't like too, I mean, it wasn't like too bad information. It's just stuff that is common. Like even if you learn that, you should have learned this stuff in flipping high school and world history. Even though I didn't really sleep through world history, but history when I was going through high school wasn't really one of my favorite subjects. So history and geography, all that stuff, I could literally give two shits about. Okay, but as I got older, you know, you kind of enjoy that stuff, but when you're young, you really don't. But anyway, Thailand tribe, if you have questions about this, comment below. We'll chat it up. If you need help with this, okay, you can either jump into the tribe. The links are in the description, or you can reach out to me. The links are also in the description. If you need help with any type of how to live abroad, what's going on in Thailand, how to rent, buy. I've done all of it, guys. Okay. Not just since I've been here in Thailand for 5 years. I got about like 20 years experience, you know, traveling and living abroad. Okay. That's what most of you guys don't know because I don't share it all the time, talk about it all the time. But if you need help with that stuff, links are in the description. But anyway, remember, I love you guys and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.